Hello again. We are continuing further into our exploration of our self-portrait. And today we are going to continue just a little bit more shading on the nose. I neglected to do some of the shading that will accentuate the three-dimensional aspect of the nose. And then we're going to jump into our mouth. Okay, so one thing I realized is we did not do shading within the nose around the nostril. So ever so lightly, I'm going to do a little bit of shading here. A tiny bit of shading also towards the bottom of my little button nose, so it shows that it is curving. And over here on this side as well. It makes it look a little bit more realistic. Just so lightly. Okay, we just got a tiny bit like that. And now we are going to create that little divot underneath our nose. Most people have like these little muscles underneath here. It kind of looks like a soft U. Soft U like this, or I should say upside down soft U. And we'll keep that part light and do a little bit of shading within that. And on the opposite side. Okay. And let's jump into the mouth. Let's look at how to draw our mouth. Now, one thing I'm going to do is we're going to start with a V. And by the way, the mouth typically starts about just like the thumb's width below our nose. So here's the V. Here's the V for the top lip. For those of us who have a top lip, actually, I should say those of us. I don't have a very good strong top lip. We're going to draw a curved line down that, and it's most likely going to end in the center of our eye. Same thing on this side. This is not a very good self-portrait of me because I do not have a very strong upper lip. Okay, so we've got that. Kind of looks like a heart. Okay, do that, and then we're going to draw a line inside. Put the tip here to create our top lip. Okay, I heard my little sounds going in the background here. And then we're going to create our bottom lip, which is a nice kind of like half circle. And connect over here. Okay, let's step back. My lips don't look exactly perfect. They're a little off. I think the angle is off a little bit. But, and I think my lips probably could have gone down just a tad bit. I might actually do some adjusting right now. Give myself a little lip filler here. I do notice that my bottom lip is not that thick, so I'm going to get down a little bit. There you go. Make sure it's not as thick. And my lip is really not that full. I wish. I'm sure there's some doctor who could help me with that. Never. Okay. Now we're going to do a little bit of shading with our lips. Now, once again, the end of our lips pretty much should be somewhat centered with our eyes, so I'm a little off. It's not quite centered. But let's go ahead and look at how we can shade our lips. Now, remember we have this part here. This is what connects in here. It's kind of like a little muscle. We do a little shading around it. Little tendon. We can make these lines a little harder now that we're done drawing our lips. If you're satisfied with the shape of your lips. Do a little bit of shading just below the lip line. Harder shading here because this is darkest of our line. This is with our mouth closed. We are kind of smirking. And I'm going to say that our light source is coming from this side, so it's going to be a little bit lighter. We want to create ever so lightly some shading here. And we're not going to create, we're not going to shade our entire portrait, just around the areas that we think are going to have a little bit more shading, because there's an obstruction of the light. And that's when you will get much darker shadows, is when it's not getting as much light. You notice I'm shading in here. I left this the color of the paper. Just a little bit of shading here. And our lips, I'm going to give some shading too. And you know what, we can actually do this with a color. So let me pause a second so I can grab a light pink. Okay, I grabbed actually two colors. I grabbed flesh color and the light pink, because if I'm going to do some shading, I think I want to do it with accurate colors of our lips. Some of you have nice ruby red lips, and that's wonderful. Unfortunately, I don't. But what I do want to do is I do want to put a couple of lines in here, because our lips do have lines, lip lines. So I'm just going to do really light feathery lines like this. The older we get, the more lines we get. Okay, so we have a couple of lip lines in there. Now I'm going to color in the whole thing very lightly with my skin tone color. And this is the skin tone that I have on my lips. Others of you have different skin tones. So you want to choose the one that matches you, because this is supposed to be us, remember? Okay. Now I'm going to go back with the pink and make it the shaded areas a little bit darker. When we can, I like to shade with an actual color miller pencil. And I'm going to get darker on the edges. That's where the lips have more shading. When I'm not doing a tutorial, maybe next time I'll do a smile. I don't look very happy in this, do I? I also feel this is very bland. I think I want to add a little bit of character to my lips here. So that we can reinvent ourselves, right? And right here where the lips meet, we're going to have a little bit more shading. It's going to be darker. Pink is probably not the best color. I don't have a very good selection of colors here. But at least the shading is allowing us to see a little bit more of the dimension. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of shading underneath the eye. And I'm going to leave the sliver of white in between. Probably best to use a dull pencil when you're shading. It can look light. Because this is my lip, and it's creating a shadow underneath my lip. Hopefully my lips are plump. So we want to give the illusion that it is creating a shadow. We can spend all day long doing the value changes and shading other lips, but I'm not going to do that with you guys. I'm just going to continue doing adding some color. We'll come back to the shading later. Maybe it looks like I have a little bit of lipstick on. How's that? Not too bad. Still looking kind of flat. I think we need to come in here with a darker color. Add some of the darkness, not just the color. Like I said, we'll continue shading this later. Right now, I just want to kind of give you guys an idea of what it looks like to draw the lips and to do some shading in it. Darker in areas that don't get as much color, but it's not necessarily that doesn't have the color. It's either being shaded because it is a roundish object, but it's also getting the light hitting on it. So we're going to see highlights too. Now this will be covered in entirely, but some areas are going to be darker than others. Because if you notice, what I'm trying to do is create like a highlight on my lip. And you do the highlights by doing dark around it. See how that white space is coming up? It's being more, has more focus because I'm not coloring it, I'm coloring around it. Okay. So that's basic for today. I don't want to go too long with the lips. We will continue shading that in our next video. Bye.